ovary cup.
This off. Ovary cup.
An ovary cup.
Cool. Thank you.
Good afternoon, South Africa, and welcome to Afternoon Express. My name is Danilo Acquisto, and it is a Tuesday afternoon. It is Madiba Day, and everyone's been celebrating across the country. I hope you've spent your 67 minutes doing something for the poor, as that is the focus for this year. It's all about social justice. On the show today, besides being 60-odd minutes of Afternoon Express, we're going to add an extra 7 to your day by asking you to contribute to what we're doing on Afternoon Express for those in need. Clement is obviously in the kitchen. It's a cook-along, and so we're not only making a recipe for ourselves for dinner, we're also doing something cool for those in need.
But first of all, don't call me Clement. It makes it sound like I'm in trouble.
You are in trouble always.
Always.
Yes.
All right.
Until the recipe comes out well, then it goes back to Clem.
Back to Clem. So we're going to do 2 amazing dishes today. The first one's going to be a really cool way of how to prepare a lunch for someone else that could maybe need it more than you do, but it's not going to take up more time from you.
Great. So the idea is we really want to encourage you. I know everyone always says this, but Madiba Day should be every single day of your life. You should be finding awesome ways in your every single day to share that little bit of yourself with somebody who really needs that little bit, because you don't realize the impact it can have on somebody's life. So today we're going to show you how to do something so small at home, making lunch for the kids. Just take an extra sami, or we're going to show how to do that in a cost-effective way on the show today. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and I'll give you all the details on how you can contribute too. And what else is the main recipe?
There we go. One of Madiba's favorite dishes, an oxtail stew.
Lovely.
It's going to be so traditional.
Is that his favorite dish?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't know this?
No, I didn't.
Well, now you do.
I knew you had a couple. We've had one of his chefs on the show before, and I knew you had a couple, but I didn't know that oxtail was one of them.
And sampan beans.
Great.
So we're going to make that as well, and we'll put my little spin on the sampan beans.
So we share a lot together, Madiba and I. It's this love for oxtail. We're both... No, just I wish I could be like a world leader like this man is. I'm just little old me.
I look up to you.
He's a big famous man.
I look up to you.
All right,
You're a little bit taller than me.
So listen, what do we need to get ready for our cook-along today? So we can start with our first step.
Okay, so we're going to start off by browning off our oxtail. So obviously, get your oxtail ready, get some flour ready and some seasoning. We're going to start by browning it off, so get a big heavy pot and some oil ready. And then the veggies, so carrots, celery, onions, leeks.
Great.
Yeah.
And perhaps you're just tuned into the show and you want to know how to get all the details for our recipes. You can SMS them. SMS the keyword stew to 33650. It'll cost you R1.50, and those free SMSs don't apply. All the details will get to you on your mobile device. And while you're on it, besides sending through that SMS, don't forget to go across all of our social media platforms. You can give us a call on our number. We'd love to hear from you on the show today. You can ask any questions, make any comments. We'd love to hear from you. Hashtag Afternoon Express across all the platforms. And I know with the cook-along, all these crazy ingredients in the afternoon can become overwhelming, but there's always one ingredient that is the most important. That's our guest. You're probably wondering who it is today. And our first guest is one of South Africa's most loved and longest standing radio personalities. He's been a busy man since he joined us 2 years ago. Now that's a clue. He's become a granddaddy, motorbiking through South Africa and Mozambique, as well as setting into a brand new radio station at Metro FM, working with Somizi and giving listeners a fresh start to the day.
6 minutes after 5, good morning, welcome to Fresh Breakfast on Metro FM. Follow us on Twitter, we are Fresh Breakfast _. We'd like to introduce you to the team on news with Angie Kumalo.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, Angie?
I'm very good.
Yeah?
It looks a little familiar, but a little different as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's on your mind this morning?
Right now,
Yes.
I don't know if waking up at 3 o'clock is a natural being for a human being.
You get used to it.
Is that so?
Yes.
Okay, we'll speak again in a year.
You know, like your first boyfriend said to you.
Oh,
I try a lot. No, we get used to it.
and indeed one does. Okay.
Exactly. Some gaga. How you doing, man? Are you good?
Is that your morning voice?
Joining us now in the loft, we'd like to welcome Big Dawg Fresh.
Woof.
Woo! Woo! Welcome, lovely to have you with us.
Thank you, Bonnie. It's good to be back.
Absolutely, it's the second time here. So that clip we saw was the first broadcast of the Fresh Breakfast on Metro.
That was day one. I think we're at about day 73 now of the show. And yes, I'm sentimental, so we count every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Mizi said that he had to kiss a lot of frogs before he finally got to work with you.
I never thought I'd ever be anybody's princess. But it seems like Somizi has found, or is it his king?
Absolutely.
Yes, so, yeah.
How's the team getting on? How's it going? Obviously, people love it. You guys were trending 24 hours, but the night before you even started.
You know what? I always say radio is about finding the right team that can work together, whether or not they get along or not. So, for instance, we all have different opinions on various issues, and I think that's what makes the show the magic that it is. So far, so good. Somizi is amazing. Mpo is great on sport, very opinionated. Angie's insane on news, and our listeners, of course. I mean, they've been very kind to us.
The listeners make it, absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
And it's 25 years now in radio for you.
Yes.
Yeah. And how do you keep the magic going? And I asked you earlier, I said, are you still learning, or how do you feel in that space now?
Because I've never taken my radio position for granted, it still excites me. I still wake up every morning excited that here we go again. Whose day we're going to make? So for me, that's very important in anything that you do.
Wow.
When the minute it stops exciting you, then maybe it's time to find something else.
It's time to find something else.
But having done radio straight out of high school, and it's now 25 years, I still get the same goosebumps I get. My nipples still stand. Am I allowed to say that?
Yes. Well, you're allowed to say a lot of things. You get away with saying a lot of crazy things. You just said something very special. You said, whose day can you make? Today being Madiba Day,
yes.
You've made a lot of people's day. You've given away 67 bursaries, and you've been giving away bursaries for years now. How many to date have you given away, do you think?
We've probably done about 1,500 bursaries over the last 17, 18 years.
Whoa.
And so for Mandela Month, I decided why not do 67 bursaries. It's 670,000 rand of bursaries.
Yeah.
But last year we did 1 million rand of bursaries.
That's
so it's just always, finding creative ways
Yes.
of giving back. And for me, education is a gift that gives until someone dies.
Whoa.
So that's how I feel you can sustainably
And even beyond, because then
Yes.
they pass it on, right? You can.
In fact, that's the only thing we ask of people that get a bursary from our foundation. Do it for someone else when you can afford to. I don't want media glory. I'm not gonna do a whole documentary about look what I'm doing. It's not about that.
Absolutely.
For me, it's about the lives that we've changed so far. A lot of the kids who were kids when they got bursaries 18 years ago. They're working. They've got their own families. They've bought property. They've bought cars. Some have even started giving back themselves with bursary programs of their own.
And paying
and for me, that's important. That is so important.
Yeah. And I'm sure you must have sat through fees must fall I've done my bit.
Listen, I've been fighting fees for 18 years.
Been fighting fees.
And I think we all have a responsibility, at some level, if not to, the broader society, to just your immediate community.
Yes.
And I don't think enough of us do that. I don't think enough of us care enough to want to make the world a better place. I know it sounds very kumbaya, it sounds very, very cliche, but that's the only way we can make sure that our kids will be fine.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have kids.
Absolutely.
You have family, you have people that depend on you.
Well, we're the only ones who can change the world because, cliche or not, we are the world.
Exactly.
Right? And just before we went live, we saw that Minister Natim Mthethwa posted a video of you emceeing Nelson Mandela's 80th birthday.
This was July 1998. I was one of the MCs. And I introduced Tata on stage. Stevie Wonder walked on, he sang for him. It was actually a magical night. It was cold.
Yeah.
I remember Drew Hill performed. Who else? Chaka Khan performed. It was an insane concert.
What did it feel like for you? Were you like, okay, this is my made it night?
Honestly, it's only now when I look back that I realize what a moment that was.
Yeah.
What a moment that was.
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking at the video thinking, geez, he was old already.
Yes,
I mean, even when he became president in '94, he was old already. And you start appreciating those little things as you piece them together and look back thinking, wow, 19 years ago, I was emceeing the old man's birthday party.
That's incredible. And one of those sweet moments that you're going to look back and piece together is you've been married now for 15 years.
Yeah.
You've got 4 children, and you're the youngest grandfather I know because you have a grandson.
Yes, my daughter Renee, who's 23, had a son 3 months ago. So I'm a granddad. I don't know how I feel about that. I hate you,
And you're
Renee.
still so young. I mean, being able to see all those generations, how does it feel?
You know, for instance, looking back at how we had her, because I was fresh out of high school, her mom was in her matric year, and it was the longest 9 months of our lives.
And the longest matric year.
No, because we had to hide the stomach in her matric year. I was terrified. I just finished high school. I want to be a parent. And looking back, I think one of the reasons I worked as hard as I did was because I knew I had a mouth to feed. And there was no way I was going to be a deadbeat dad.
Absolutely.
So I blame her for all my hard work.
Wow.
Because I almost felt like she was the goal now, that I need to make sure that this child gets an education. I need to make sure this child goes through university. And I made a promise, no kids until you're done with varsity. And she's done with varsity and now she has a child. Thanks.
Wow,
I wasn't
that's
trying to be a grandfather yet.
That's beautiful, but
Yeah.
becoming a parent is very sobering, and
It is,
nothing
it
will
is.
make you work harder.
Nothing will make you work harder, but it also sometimes gives you the fire you need up your bum.
Yes.
Because it's the pressure that forces us to work sometimes if we're not inspired enough. So I appreciate the fact that I had a child early. Don't try it at
absolutely.
home, kids. It's not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, otherwise we become complacent.
Exactly.
But we're not getting complacent, and we're not letting you go. You're going to cook some oxtail with us.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
So what are you at home doing this Mandela Day to make a difference? Stay tuned to see how the Afternoon Express team is giving back. That's coming up right after the break. Don't go away.
Express yourself.
welcome back to Afternoon Express on this Madiba day. And so one thing that I always find interesting when it comes to challenging myself about this day, day itself, everyone always kind of does their 67 minutes and wonders what happens after that. It's really important for us to all remember that we've all got a duty to do service for those who have less than we do. And so we're going to show you on Afternoon Express today how to turn your 67 minutes into 67 years of your life that you can do. And it comes in simple things, right, Clem? So it comes in just trying to make what you usually do and then multiplying that.
I think so, and a lot of people are concerned sometimes, it's a bit selfish to say that it's going to take up extra time and all this extra effort, but actually not. So shopping smart is a great way how to actually provide an extra meal for someone. It's not going to take time or extra money.
Great. So what we've done on the show is we're going to be creating a really cool sub here that you can make for your kids for school, make them at any point in the week if you want to, and it'll provide you the opportunity to make an extra piece for somebody else that you meet on the street. And so what we've done on Afternoon Express, we're going to make a whole bunch of these and we're going to deliver them after the show to one of the homes nearby.
That's right, exactly.
Cool.
So let me give you a quick demo on how to actually put the sandwich together. So like you said, we bought one French loaf, which is quite interesting because instead of making 3 separate sandwiches, 1 loaf.
Okay.
It's not going to take much time. So what we've done is put it on the middle.
It's a nice way to show someone that you loaf them.
Dan, we are using cheese, however, can you just keep your cheese?
Good one, to the minimum. Okay, fine, usuals.
So, using margarine or butter is actually quite great because you're going to give this to someone and understand where they're going to walk around with it throughout the day, might not eat it immediately. The butter or margarine acts as kind of like a barrier, so whatever you're using doesn't like sog the bread too much,
Yes,
you know what I mean?
I like that. And it's something that's very important to remember. I mean, working with the homeless, you've got to remember that people don't necessarily, they always think like, oh, I can feed you what I wouldn't eat myself. Always feed somebody what you would only eat yourself. In fact, try and share a meal with somebody else that's on the street who needs it more than you do. That's one of the best pieces of advice I ever received.
Exactly, absolutely. So, let's get started on this, guys. So I've got some mayonnaise.
Yum, yum.
It's kind of cool.
There's enough butter in there anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, just add a bit of flavor.
Okay, go for it.
We're sharing, Dad. So a little bit of mayonnaise goes down. So while we're doing this, I'm going to actually put you to work. Will you split the cucumber down the length for me, please?
Can I cut the tips off first?
If you want.
Of course I want to. Those are the bitter bits.
I don't eat cucumber.
Oh, really? Why?
No.
How come?
Just the flavor.
I like it.
Nah.
It gives you a lot of indigestion, apparently.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. What I need you to do now for me is to scrape out the seeds into this bowl.
How do you do
because
that?
you don't want to add the seeds. You can use a spoon over here. You don't want to add the seeds to the sandwich because there's a lot of water in there, and that water will come out and, again, make the sandwich a little soggy.
Oh, I see. So scraping out all the middle bits, which is where all the water cells are held, I guess.
You got it.
Okay.
So you can start slicing that up for me, and you can pass me the spiced beef, please.
The what?
Spiced beef.
Oh, is that what that is?
Go for beef, yeah, go for it. Oh, there we go. So you're going to start slicing it up for me? Just do one for
just
now.
one, okay. Sorry, being shouted at. Which way? Like this way?
Do like a nice diagonal.
Like this?
Or do it any way Dan's going to do it.
Oh my gosh, Clem, you're giving me too much advice here and I'm getting confused. All right, let's do it like this.
All right, you're doing a good job.
Thanks.
So the beef goes down, then I've got some sliced cheese.
Yeah, don't ask me about my chunks of cucumber. That one was a mistake. I'll fix it now.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything.
Don't.
And then follow the cheese. We're going to go with some spinach and then your cucumber.
Cool.
So
This is quite
essentially
nice,
what we've
like
done...
It's got all the different varietals in it. Got a bit of protein in there, a bit of vegetables. It's fresh, it holds for long.
There we go. So some spinach goes down. And also, the thing about spinach, if it does wilt, it's not destroying the flavor or texture too much. It's spinach, you know, so it's still fine. There we go.
It's packed full of iron, which is one of the most lacking pieces of nutrients.
Cool. I like what you've done. So, how great and easy is this?
So you've got one sandwich for one child, another sandwich for another child, and you've got a third sandwich that you can leave available for somebody who needs it close to you. Maybe they live nearby to you. Maybe you walk past somebody on the way to work or the way to school. This is a great way to be able to share what you would have normally done anyway. It doesn't take more time and it doesn't even cost you even more money. Right, so if you guys have missed the details and have just tuned into the show, you can get all the details for how to make this recipe on your mobile device by SMSing the keyword share to 33650. It'll cost you R1.50 and those free SMSs don't apply. And here's a quick recap in case you missed it.
Thank you so much for joining us back on Afternoon Express live on SABC3. Joining us for our cook-along today is DJ Fresh, the big dog, woof. And we're making an oxtail.
Yes.
Oxtail is my favorite dish.
It's also my
It
divas.
is my favorite meat dish.
I think especially because it takes a long time to cook, it's the love that goes into this dish.
I like eating it, I don't like making it. It takes too long, I get too irritated, I don't know how to put all the different bits together,
you an
so
oxtail
I'm learning a
lover,
lot today.
Can't you pressure cook that?
You absolutely can. So there we go, Dan, there's a solution.
You're a lazy man, I like you.
No, let me tell you about myself. I call myself the 30-minute guy.
All right.
Even with meetings, if we're not done in 30 minutes, you're going to lose me.
Okay.
In the kitchen, if it takes more than 30 minutes to make, I'm not interested.
Clem, we've got 35 minutes, we've got to I don't know how we're going to do this. 35 minutes left on the show, what are we going to...
Well, luckily, because it is Madiba Day, we wanted to do a dish that he loved a lot. And this is one of his favorites, oxtail stew with sampan beans. So today we're changing the sequence a little bit. We're going to teach you how to make it, and the part you're not going to do with us is the waiting.
Yeah, what you can do is if you get stuck at any point along the way, you can give us a call on 021 430 9881 is our number you can give us a call on. The phone lines are open. You can ask any questions or make any comments throughout the show today. We'd love to hear from you. 021 430 9881.
Absolutely. Any tips, any questions that you have, even for Fresh, please send them through. Now, I have a question that I was dying to ask you. You posted something recently after we lost a great man, a great veteran in the music industry, Mr. Ray Phiri, and you have a very personal experience with him that has really moved you.
Yeah, geez, when I was 15, I went through a lot, like when I was 15. You know, my relationship with my dad was not necessarily 100%. And then my mom left to go study in the US. And I think a month after my mom left to study in the US, my best friend's family relocated to Norway. So, and then I broke up with the girl I thought was, you know, the love of my life. When you're 15, you fall in love. And then when they shatter your heart.
It's the end of the world,
And I literally felt alone. My mom was gone. I was at boarding school. My best friend was gone. My girlfriend had kissed another boy, and that just broke my... And I was literally slipping slowly into like a dark place.
Yeah.
And I almost withdrew into a shell, as it were. And then I remember I read a drum magazine, and they had an article about Ray Phiri, and the fact that he was speaking about how much of a recluse he was, and that despite all the lights and that tension, he's actually quite a lonely guy, as it were. And just reading that just gave me a sense of, I'm not alone. And if this man, whose music I'm playing at school socials, also has dark places that he's dealing with, you know, who am I not to be able to handle it? I'll be fine. And for me, I felt it was like reading that article, Thanks Drum Magazine. It was almost that moment that said, you're going to be fine, kid.
Wow. Would it be polite to say it was a ray of sunshine in that dark space?
Are we adding cheese to the oxtail?
Apparently.
Let's get to it, Clem. Let's get to it.
All right, so we're using oxtail. And oxtail is a meat that's also, it's on the bone, right? And it's a part of the cow that goes the whole day, you know what I mean? In saying that, because it's working so much, the meat is quite tough. So it's going to take quite a bit of time to slow cook and get the meat off the bone.
Right stuff. Is it like muscle butt?
It is. There we go.
It's like flexing his pecs, eh?
Okay. You know what? Just to set you on the right path with the cooking today, I've got somebody on the line who's dying to give you some great cooking tips. Hello, caller, are you there? Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Let's try that again. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey.
Okay, starstruck.
Hello, can you hear us?
Guys.
Okay, we'll get you back on the line in just a bit.
Guys, what if it's a spokescow?
Is our caller going to say something?
Offended that we're
Hi,
cooking.
Fred.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
None of the business. It's amazing. How are you?
Oh, some Jeezy. How you doing, my dog?
I am good. Listen.
Yeah.
I've now figured out that you can cook for 30 minutes. You are cooking this Friday.
Okay, every Friday some music caters on the show. Oh. So I will cook for our guests on Friday some Jeezy.
Yes, make a 30-minute, under 30-minute meal because I thought you can't cook. You are cooking this Friday.
I can cook. I'll show you. Friday, we'll post pictures, we'll tag Afternoon Express and
So
show
Lizzie,
people.
do you have any tips for him? Because we're cooking oxtail today.
Add red wine.
Oh, add red wine. Good decision. Hey, listen, some Gaga earlier on the couch, Fresh was asking whether you're his prince or did you turn the little frog into the prince or into the king? Which one is it?
Yeah?
Really, you had to kiss a lot of frogs before you got into the show with Fresh? No, this is going way over heads. Never mind. Moving along
You
swiftly.
can't hear us today. You can't hear us.
Is the red wine...
Thank you for the tips, so easy.
In the oxtail or in the...
Well, we're not red. We're gonna use some beer today, some easy. That's okay.
That's fine. That's perfect.
There we go.
Perfect.
Lekker.
Any bit of alcohol on the oxtail is amazing because it cooks for long, so it really won't make you drunk. It's just for flavor.
All right.
Awesome. Good tip. Thanks, Somizi.
Where's the fun?
All right, so let's get to it. So I'm going to pass the oxtail on to you. I'm going to put you on duty of browning the oxtail off. I've got some flour for you.
Okay.
So we're not going to thicken our sauce. The flour that's actually coating the oxtail is going to thicken our sauce, so we have to do that afterwards.
Okay.
And I've got some salt and pepper for you. So you can just dust it with a bit of flour, just scatter it over there, and then toss it all together. Salt and pepper.
So
we just dip it in
flour,
there?
yeah.
I will actually just chuck the flour in the bowl with the oxtail. Make life easier.
Okay.
All of it.
Just
no,
some of it.
like some of it. And
gonna
while we're
say-
doing that, Dan,
Yeah.
will you pop the stove onto me for like let's say 7?
Onto a nice high heat. Cool.
Okay.
It's on 7. That one's
Wow,
ready
that was
to
really
Yeah, I
roll.
think that's perfect.
Okay, that's going so well. You can, and then go on. Once you've got that nice and coated, you can
I
add
think
some
we can
oil to
coat
the pot.
this. Just toss it around.
There we go, fresh. That's all you. Some nice oil to the pot, and Dan, we're gonna start prepping the veggies.
I've got my knife. Let's do it.
All right, so I'm gonna give you a carrot, but because we're gonna let this cook for about 3 hours, you could just do that and do like nice thick chunks, but I want to add a bit of like
can use
flair
that.
to the dish, right?
That's good to go.
So I'm just checking on them over there. Everything's going well. Everything's looking good.
Is the oil hot enough?
Yeah, that stove
it's
tends
cool.
to get hot quite quickly.
It'll start browning off very quickly. So Dan, what I want you to do is we're gonna do nice little triangle little pieces. So diagonally. Because you eat with your eye first,
Is
right?
it not supposed to go...
No, it doesn't need to go. It will get there very quickly. I like that he knows what's going on. Fresh.
Why wouldn't I?
There we go. Okay, so you can add it. It's going to come very quickly,
Okay.
and it will brown. Don't worry about it. So Dan, nice little triangles for me. So, like I said, it's going to cook for quite a long time, about 3 hours. You don't want to cut your carrots too thin that they end up just becoming a puree in your stew.
Yeah, they waste away.
You want to see the vegetables, and you want to know what you're eating.
And vegetables be crunchy all the time anyway?
No.
They shouldn't?
I mean it's about texture, but you don't want everything to be the same texture.
Don't boil them.
Yeah. So these carrots, because we've made one earlier, and I know Dan tasted it. You can.
Still a wortel.
Absolutely. Because you're a very healthy guy.
I've always wanted to do this on TV. What's up, Doc?
What's that? Cool.
Okay, so why is it important to coat your oxtail before you brown it?
You don't want to, you don't have to do it, but what tends to happen is if you make the stew, your sauce ends up being a little runny at the end, a little thin. So it's nice to actually thicken it slightly. It kind of just like gives it a little more body. So by adding the flour to it, the flour actually also helps it brown quite a bit.
Brown.
And then again, helps it thicken slightly.
Cool. Yeah. Perfect.
Cool. So that's all the carrots done. Dan, how you feel about onions?
I'm cool with onions. I'm
you cool?
happy with onions. Let's
All right,
do
cool.
that.
So then I'm gonna give that to you. And
Also
then,
cut them into little chunks, eh?
There we go. So Fresh and Bonnie, how about you do the leek?
Absolutely.
But I'm like very specific about the way you do leeks, right?
Is it a Gupta leek or just a leek?
No comment. No comment. So you're gonna slice it through the length for me, and then into nice chunks. And I've got a bowl of water for you over here. So leeks sometimes contain sand in them, and one bite of sand and the dish is
and the
ruined.
whole dish is ruined.
Yes,
So you're gonna cut it in nice chunks, add it to the water. You're gonna massage the leeks. Maybe it's a Gupta leek now because we're giving it so much TLC.
So much tenderness.
So I'm gonna pass that to you. There you go. And here's your bowl of water.
Let's not talk about tenders here, all right? All right? Let's not talk about that here.
Could I say my hands are leaking? Sorry.
You guys are obviously friends, right?
I can chop it.
We have a dairy factory together. We have a farm. Thank you.
Wow.
How
So
dare
am I
you
just-
expose our
Am I
secrets
chopping
like
it
that?
into?
Come on.
Oh, the other way.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
cool. But what you want to do is exactly that's what you want to do also because you want to get in between those
And then-
layers.
Okay, and then I want to do this.
Then you can...
And then you chop it. So that's looking one on it.
This
so,
is still
Why
doing
is this not
nothing.
heating up? Like, I think our stove is
Yeah.
not doing our... It's warm, but it's not like
Let's
heating up. That's
swap
so
it
weird.
over.
Okay,
Bring it over here,
perfect.
Dad.
Cool. I'm going
Is
to
there
turn that
more-
one on.
is there
Okay,
more
while
heat
I
outside?
finish chopping these,
Bring it
we've
over
got a
here.
caller on the line who'd like to speak to you, Fresh. Dinelle, welcome to Afternoon Express. How are you?
Hi, Fresh.
Hello,
Hi,
Dineo.
Bonnie. How you guys doing?
Is this Dineo like serial fresh breakfast listener, Dineo?
Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
She's like one of
How
my
you
most
doing?
loyal listeners like on the planet. I'm good.
I'm not a loyal listener. I'm part of the team. I run the show on the street.
Okay.
Yes, girl, yes.
What's your
I
question
just
or
wanna-
comment?
I just want to say you've touched so many lives and you've touched my life as well, as you know. We appreciate your giving, your eccentric look up laugh every morning, your jokes, your poor jokes sometimes, and your big heart, man. I love you so much.
Oh, thanks,
This
Janelle.
is just to show my appreciation for you.
Oh, love you, man. We'll see you on the
Listen.
radio at 5 tomorrow.
Yeah, you listen to John on the radio. Does he have a face for radio or a face for TV?
Dineo, are you still there?
Yes, I'm so
Waiting for this.
Face
answer.
for radio or face for TV for Fresh?
for both, for everything.
Good
man.
answer.
Perfect
Good
answer.
It was wearing a suit.
I wore a jacket for Bonnie, so.
Yeah.
See you on our 100th episode.
Lekker.
All right, Dineo. Love you. Thanks for the love and support, man.
Thank
really
you for
appreciate it.
calling.
Thank you.
All right, Dineo. There we go.
Lovely. How cool is that? Your guys have got some really cool loyal fans. It's really awesome to see them take to the streets and really drive what to do.
It's actually overwhelming how many people loyally follow me wherever I go.
It's amazing.
And it's something you shouldn't take for granted.
No, never. Yeah.
That's why I don't take it for granted.
Somebody who you
Absolutely.
followed around was recently you were busy jet setting with P. Diddy, with Black Coffee.
Well,
You and
just-
your Phonic were taking
It was
photos.
just one party, man. It was just one party at Diddy's mansion, that's all.
Oh, so easy, hey?
And Fresh is not a show-off. He's not going to go on about that. But just to quickly recap about what we've done so far, we're browning the oxtail because we
Yes.
coated it with flour. And we've chopped the leeks, we've chopped all the vegetables, and are they ready to go in once our meat is browned?
So we're gonna continue browning
Okay.
the ad break. You're gonna massage your leeks. I've
Okay.
chopped up some extra celery to go into it. When we come back on the ad break, all the veggies are going into the pot.
Absolutely. Great. Cool. While I massage these leeks, hope you're catching up on the cook along. We'll see you right after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back to Afternoon Express. We're live on SABC3. It's our cook-along day. Fresh is still here with us, helping us with the oxtail. And if you have any tips, any questions, or you just want to chat to us on Fresh, please call us on 021-430-9881. I've been massaging these leeks. I think they are special leeks.
Very special.
So I think they're ready.
Hey, listen, instead of giving us a call, you guys can also pop all your comments on Facebook. I'm loving reading all the comments from Fresh on our Facebook page. We'll try and get through some of those later on in the show. Also, we're running a Twitter poll at the moment, which you can find on our Twitter pages, Afternoon Chat. Madiba's favorite dish was oxtail. What is yours? It's as simple as that. Go and vote for your favorites on our Twitter pages. We'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, go and send all your love for Fresh on our Facebook page.
Fresh, you're quite a health fanatic, and you've been a fitness freak for years, and you've been quite consistent about it. What's your diet like? I mean, are you allowed cheat days?
I've always been advised that if your body is craving something, don't always deny yourself what your body's craving. Obviously, everything in moderation.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of the time we don't know when to stop.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. My eating has generally been clean. The gym has been consistent, but I enjoy a bit of champagne.
Nice.
So I've been alcohol dry for the last 4 weeks, and I've dropped 5 kilograms already. Just from cutting alcohol. Just from cutting alcohol on weekends, I've dropped 5 kilograms.
Whoa.
So it's amazing how if everything works together, you can actually get the body you want.
You want quicker too.
But it's discipline. It's about discipline. So I'm not an alcoholic. I just enjoy a drink. Okay.
Same thing happened to me. I gave alcohol for this year, and the press are always like, "Oh, you're an alcoholic." I'm like, I'm 26 years old, working on a television show every day. Like, what kind of alcoholic could I be?
Oh,
Anyway.
you're such show. Sorry. Jeez. Okay.
Why do you drink? How
so
could
much
you, Bonnie?
pressure.
Okay, so let's go back to the pot. So Dan, you want to hold up the oxtail and show how beautifully browned it is.
Which one must I hold?
That little guy is pretty good. You can see the color on him. You can see that super charred on the outside, and that's because of the flour that we have on there as well. So let's start adding the extra flavors to it. So your very chunky onions, I'm going to add that to it. So onions are kind of selfish. You normally want to brown your onions with the meat alone before you add anything else. And once it starts softening, you add everything else.
Selfish how?
They don't like cooking with the other vegetables.
Oh,
They don't like playing along.
They just tend to not caramelize as soon as you add all the other vegetables to it. So once it's in the pot like this, you want to kind of toss it for a bit. Let's do it staying for about 10 minutes actually. So it's nice and soft and caramelized, and then we're going to go in with the rest of the ingredients. But what I want you to do first, just mix everything like really well. We're just going to start checking all those flavors, and when it goes into the oven for about 3 hours, everything should come together perfectly. I mean, after 3 hours, everybody should know each other. You know? Yeah?
Absolutely.
Right, so...
And is it best to make oxtail in the oven or on the stove top?
Well,
what would you better recommend?
There's 2 methods, like you said now, on the stove top or in the oven. So on the stove top just means you got to keep an eye on it more, stir it because it might catch at the bottom of the pot. In the oven is more for like fresh. I think in the oven, walk away, come back, 3 hours, done.
do people still use hot boxes?
Hot boxes?
Oh, wow, I think we shouldn't be using hot boxes, but I...
Because I remember my mom used to do that. So you cook it for an hour, you leave it in the hot box the whole day, you come back end of the day and it's cooked.
Is that like kind of wrapped in newspaper, a couple of blankets?
No,
in
man,
the
it
box?
was like a whole, it was like a box. Almost looked like 2 bean bags.
Oh,
and then you put it in there, and then it just
retains all the heat and cooks within.
And then
I've seen something like that.
Yeah,
It's like a cushion bag.
If she doesn't know the hot box, she's too young for you.
It's called a Wonder Bag.
The Wonder Bag, that's the one. Yeah.
This is a great recipe for the Wonder Bag. So get it going, get it bubbling, pop it in the Wonder Bag, zip it up, come back a couple of hours later, done.
Perfect.
There we go.
Wow.
Are you having
what
fun?
were your favorite
having
dishes
fun.
growing up? Speaking of your mom and Wonder Bags.
My favorite dishes were anything that was, I was a plump kid, so I ate everything.
You ate everything.
But I was that kid at lunch, I would eat half my meal, and then I'd leave half for later.
Yeah.
Because I loved eating all the time. And every evening I'd cook myself, I'd make like a triple-decker, like sami with eggs and
Dagwood.
like a dagwood
Like
with
a dagwood.
acha and everything.
Yeah.
And then I'd literally just walk around the yard just eating it. I was like 10, 11.
Really?
And
Exciting activity in the day.
I looked forward to
And
that.
just singing and humming along as you...
Yes, it was just me and my dagwood, and the oil would be like running down my arm, and I'd lick
Humming
my
a house
arm
tune.
because you can't waste oil and yeah.
Oh, my word. It's such a cool thing too, because food is like one of those things people either really have as a therapeutic means, it's a space for you to just kind of be yourself and to really enjoy it, but then it becomes overindulgent. What you said, the balance stuff is really important. But that like love for food, I don't know, and a lot of people don't share that, but you clearly share that with me. That's love. Like you just can't think of anything more exciting in your day than to shove a piece of meat in your mouth.
My problem when I'm cooking is by the time I'm done, half the food is
It's
eaten
done.
already.
Oh, yeah.
I'm that guy.
You're the bry guy. Are you
I'm
the bry guy
I'm
who
bry
keeps
guy.
eating the
By the
meat?
time you get it, half of it is gone. But I need to check that it's cooked.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. So what happens with the garlic now? Do we add the garlic later or are we
Not
adding
yet.
it right
So
away?
what I've done is I've added the leeks, the celery, and the carrots. That's going to kind of come together. And I want to add the herbs. So the herbs I add whole, so they can permeate through the dish. There we go.
5 second rule,
So that's
5
going to like
second
add
rule.
that nice earthiness to it. I'm using rosemary and thyme and some bay leaves. There we go. Absolutely, that goes in.
I'm very confused as well because whenever I heard of oxtail, we spoke about this. It takes like 4 hours to get done. How are we going to do this in the show? I don't understand.
Dan, this is magic, right? We're going to make it happen.
Okay, so if someone is home now busy making this with us, don't expect this to be done in an hour. I'm sorry. Tell your friends to not start coming. Send them back home.
We're doing it for TV.
They're not ready.
Okay, so salt and pepper is going in there now. That's also going to draw some moisture out of our vegetables. It's going to start cooking, get nice and tender. And now we're going to go with the garlic. So I love using like
A whole lot of garlic.
A whole lot of garlic. I'd say honestly about 10 cloves for this dish because it's going to cook so long that punctuality is going to come
Yowza.
out. Dan's always scared. I mean, for an Italian boy, I don't know what your story is with the garlic.
Yeah.
Eh?
Are you a real Italian?
Guys, I leave here and I've got to go on dates and then what?
That's a
Dude,
lot
guys,
of
how many
garlic.
dates are you going on?
Well, wouldn't you like to know, Barney?
All of them.
You know I was not on the show for most of last week? Well.
Oh, is that what you're doing?
Lies.
You
Lies.
stallion, you.
All right. So tomato paste goes in there, and then some Worcester sauce, just like that. Dad, you keep on doing your job, eh? I'm really happy.
I'm doing very well, yeah. I'm a good tosser.
As per Somizi's request, we've got some beer. I'm using stout. Right? You could use red wine at this point, but I feel like stout's just got so much more
Yeah,
like.
it's more of a robust taste.
It is, and
Yeah.
oxtail being robust in itself
Yes.
can take on the flavor. So that's gonna go in.
Absolutely.
I thought it was coffee. I was getting really excited. I was like, oh, we're making a coffee-inspired oxtail.
Not today. Not today.
No,
Beer's
no.
better.
Not any day. Not on any
I have
day.
the rest of it.
We're gonna keep that for you. Absolutely. So what you're gonna do at this stage is you want to cook that alcohol out. You don't want to have because alcohol is actually bitter, right?
Yes.
You don't want that bitter flavor in your stew, so you're gonna bring it up to a bubble before you add the rest of the water. So Dan, you're off the hook for a little bit. Let it come up to temperature.
Smells so interesting.
And now onto bond and fresh. So I love Sam.
Okay.
Like I can't even explain how much I love Sam. It's literally one of those dishes you serve with a pillow.
Oh, yes.
Because when you're done,
You got the itis.
you got the itis.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to put you guys to work on that. So I've got
Okay.
some sampan beans.
Okay.
I always soak mine before I use them.
For how long?
I soak it overnight.
Overnight.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
But apparently you don't have to.
Yeah.
I just feel like the texture is so much better if you soak it overnight. So I've soaked mine. I've got a pot for you over there, and I always start it up with cold water. You want to bring it all up to temperature together. So I've got some
Together.
cold water for you on the side there. Another important thing is never add salt to your sampan beans when you
At the
start
be-
cooking it.
Oh, wow. How come?
It hardens the outside of the beans, number one, and the same with the sap. So it's got like it gets a bit of a shell. So you want to always season it afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
But
is that
because-
what's been happening to my Sam?
But because we don't want to like miss out on any opportunity to add flavor to it, sorry about your diet, I'm gonna go with 2 knobs of butter in the water.
Yes.
And that way, when
So you want the butter first?
you can. What
Clem
you
is
can
the
normally do
saying,
is-
butter is better.
Butter's better. You can add just 2 knobs of butter, and then you can add the samp immediately anyway. It's all gonna come together because samp also takes a long time to cook. So I normally cook mine on a low heat for about 3 hours. And that way you get the most fluffiest, intense flavor out of your samp. It is so good. So what we're gonna do is we understand that this takes some time to cook. So we've actually made some before the time.
Oh,
But a
all that
little
effort.
trick to this one, we're gonna fry it in some curried, buttered onions, fresh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This is only getting better and
What
better.
eating
I
plan?
love you.
So basically, the samp becomes a meal. Honestly, a meal on its own. It's
Yeah.
got so much flavor, and obviously paired with our intense stew, it's gonna be awesome.
The other day I was telling my friends that my daughter loves samp with milk. And they were shocked. Am I the only one who has samp with milk?
No, but
Yeah,
it must be so good
and-
because cooking rice in like a coconut milk or something
Yeah.
is so delicious. Sam must be
I've
the
never
same.
tried it. So she has
guys
it
are-
like a cereal.
Yeah, like just
Yeah.
samp and milk. You guys have never tried it?
No.
I've had that before. I've even had that.
You've never lived.
Yeah.
I'd try it. It sounds so good to
It's the
me.
same as cooking like having pap with milk. It's so there's something about that texture. It's so good.
But especially if it's nice, fluffy samp.
Guys,
Wow.
you see, this is why I struggle. I want to lose weight, but then I find all these amazing recipes and I go out again.
I bet she adds sugar. Does she add sugar?
No, it's
Just sampan milk. Wow.
Hope you guys are cooking along with us at home and enjoying the cook along today. We'd love to hear from you. 021 430 9881. You can send through any comments or questions. Also comment on all of our social media platforms. We're live. The show is yours to get making some delicious food with us on Afternoon Express. Dinner gets sorted with you. So you got your own private chef on the show. How cool is that?
So Dan, while you were busy talking, I actually did put the stove off.
Cool.
So can you put it back on for me, please?
Oh, which one did I turn off? Which one? This one back on?
This one and that one in the front for me.
Gosh.
So we're going to start caramelizing those onions that we need for our sam. So I'm going to get started on that so long. So, you always want to pop the lid on when you cook your sam. You don't want your pot to run dry. Done. That's going to happen in a bit.
Perfect.
Is this on?
This is going to be so delicious.
It's on. Now this time it's on. So get your ingredients ready to rock and roll with us on the cook along right here on Afternoon Express, and we'll join you right after these. A warm welcome back to Afternoon Express live on SABC3. It's our cook along today, and Fresh, the big dog, is... Should be a sound effect we have on the show all the time. Is our guest today in the loft. We're making a delicious oxtail because it's Madiba Day and it's his favorite dish of all time. And you guys have been sending through all your comments and your questions on our Facebook page and our Twitter accounts. Thank you. Keep them coming. You can also give us a call on 021 430 9881.
Absolutely. How did that name come about, Big Dawg?
Big Dawg was a nickname that a listener on YFM gave me. He'd called in and just said, "I'm a big dog." And
you'd be like, woof, woof.
And then I went woof him, and I just lashed onto it as a dog would.
That's awesome.
I mean, even with the nickname Fresh, I mean, that was initially a taunt because I was a fat kid. But I'm that guy, you know. Oh, lemon, great. Where's the tequila? You know, so I'm that guy.
Good stuff.
Awesome. Well, we do have a caller on the line. Hello, caller. How are you? Zikona?
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Afternoon Express. Any comments or questions?
You guys are fabulous, first of all. You're doing a great show this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you.
DJ Fresh.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm excellent, man. Thank you. Listen, you're doing a whole lot of things right now. I know you're a busy man and everything, but what else should we expect from you this year? Do you have any surprises for us?
Brand new mobile phone app should be dropping.
Oh, what?
Apparently we're on this camera, thank you. Yeah, brand new app. In fact, it's available already, but we're launching it next month. I'll be on the cover of a magazine next month also. South Africa's Got Talent. Fresh House Flavor 10.
Yeah.
Geez. Let me. Yeah, that's all I can think of right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and which magazine, by the way, so I can...
I can't say until they
You
say.
can't say.
Until they announce it, I can't say. But I'm the first man to appear twice on the cover of this magazine. So
That's a bit of a clue.
it's the only clue I'll give you right now.
Thank you so much for the call. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thanks, Connor. Love you. Bye.
Speaking of magazine covers, now you haven't been doing magazine covers for years, not because you haven't been asked, but because you're quite a private man and you've chosen to not be on magazine covers. Tell us why.
Generally, I want my own little privacy space kind of person, so I'm very picky about that.
Yeah, so you won't do home shoots. We've never seen the inside of your home.
I don't do home. I don't do car. I don't do kids. If you see me in a picture with a car, it's not my car. Just I don't do conspicuous consumption.
Yes.
But those that do, each their own.
Each their own.
But for me, it's.
Interesting.
So I feel like I should be honoured because, I mean, my first relationship with this man was in my grade 11 year. I came to job shadow him while he was still at 5FM, and I came in because I couldn't go into the morning shows that the day ran away from us.
So he settled.
He settled for Fresh, and it was such an incredible experience. Got to meet you then, and then my first business I ever started was running like an online magazine, and you agreed to do an interview with us, and that was like because hearing you talk about how personal you were about different spaces, you opened up so much about the industry and was talking about how to get youngsters into the industry and what advice he had for other radio DJs and personalities. So how crazy that it's been that long since.
Congratulations.
Since we started. Now you're on my show. What's up?
Look at you now. Huh?
One day I'll be a big dog.
You're getting there.
Okay, yeah.
Let's fry some onions, okay?
Right. What do we need to do next?
Okay, so what I've done already so far is caramelized our onions. That's looking good. I want to add a little bit of garlic.
Yes, and you always add the garlic after, especially if it's been chopped up like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because garlic actually has a lot of sugar in it. Not an alarmic, like it's going to ruin your diet. It's just got like sometimes you chop garlic and your fingers are sticky. That's the sugar.
That's the sugar.
Sugar we know caramelizes.
Right.
So you want to add it after your onions are nice and brown.
Yeah. So what affects vampires? The smell or the sugar?
The sugar. Maybe let's talk about that. Maybe vampires are just like banting
so
diets.
So that's what it is.
I think so. I mean, that's why they look so pale. I mean, maybe.
They just need a cup of water and sugar.
Maybe that's all the holy water is, actually. Just water and sugar. So cool.
What is that you're throwing in there?
This is some garam masala, which is like a curry spice minus the heat. So it's not spicy, it's spiced.
This is what's the base of a korma, I'd imagine, like a very mild korma. It's delicious.
Okay.
So now we're going to act fast. So now I need some butter in here. Bon, you've got the butter.
Absolutely. Butter coming right up.
Dan, I need about 2 knobs of that.
Cool, I'll be the butterfingers.
Cool. There we go. And then we're going to start adding our samp beans real quick. I like how I said 2 when you add 1.
That is 2. They're like they joined there.
Yeah, so let me pass you the spoon. You can start spooning in our samp beans.
Okay.
And then because these are quite like smoky, earthy flavors, I wanted to add something that's a little fresh. Sorry, I forgot all the cheese is onion. Okay, never mind. Sorry, Dad. So what I've got are the celery leaves that we kept from the celery we added to our oxtail stew. So we can actually use that. It's got an amazing flavor. Like people throw that away.
Do you want all of it in there?
Well, no.
People throw it away, but you use all of it. Okay. Which one are you using?
Yeah, there you go. People use it in salads, and it's really great in this dish as well. You can add that already. That can go in. And that's going to kind of start wilting like a spinach would.
Yeah.
Just add like a nice
freshness to it.
A nice freshness.
You're allowed to use that word. It fits here,
It does.
Yeah.
Fresh house flavor,
Fresh flavor in there. Yeah, I love it.
And it's homegrown, it's grown in the backyard.
And speaking of which, you produced 35 house albums. You're sitting at 35.
About 35 house albums and counting.
That is insane.
And I think this year we'll finally do a fully produced album, so I'm very excited about that.
And listen, it's almost time for us to say goodbye on the show, but I really wanted to get from you the sense of Madibide, because I mean, we always talk to people about it, and the generic response is, they love people, love out his legacy. Genuinely speaking, from a man who's interacted with him, from a man who's been in broadcasting for as long as you have been, what are your thoughts around Madibide, and what does it mean to you? What does this man mean to you?
One thing I appreciate about him is the fact that he was always a team player. Despite the fact that we always put him on a pedestal, he was always quick, and he was always the first one to say, it wasn't just me, it was me and a whole lot of other people. And that's how I've always lived my life with everything I do.
Absolutely.
Even with my radio shows, I try not to make it about me. I rather make it
And
about
that comes across.
the
That comes
people
across.
I work with. Because I think if all of our lights are shining, there's a lot more that can be seen, as it were.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people, especially in radio, want to hog the limelight.
Yeah.
They want to make it about themselves. Listen, you got the show. It's your job. You're there already. Why are you hogging the microphone?
Yeah.
So my attitude has always been, take as many people with you up the ladder as you possibly can. And I mean, that's, I believe, what his philosophy was.
Yeah. Do you believe 67 Minutes and Mandiba Day itself is still going to add value as people move forward?
I think, some people have bought into it, some people haven't, and that's just human nature. We will not all follow the same thing or philosophy, but I think generally we're moving in the right direction.
Great.
And I think the sooner we realize that we are as responsible for ourselves as government might be, then we will start maybe making differences in our communities and not waiting for government. Because government can only do so much, to tell you the honest truth.
Well, one thing we have been waiting for is to see the results of this oxtail. Would you look at that?
Okay. So
Isn't that beautiful?
Actually, it's a spoon from the samp. I've dished up the samp already. Looking amazing.
So this has been searing down. You can see all of that flavor in there. That is going to fall right off that bone.
That looks
Yum.
insane.
All right, so samp's done. I'm going to actually ask you to hold this up while Fresh dishes.
Cool.
And we're actually done with the meal. So Fresh, here's a big spoon for you.
Oh, man.
Good to have you,
We
Fresh.
hooked it
Thanks
up.
for coming to join us on the
You
loft.
killed it. Thank you so much for joining us.
And to thank you for joining us on our
dishes,
Cook Along
wasn't
on
it?
Afternoon Express. Have a brilliant rest of your afternoon. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow on SABC3. Good night and happy eating.
Happy eating.
Sorry, I was trying to talk. I was like, no, we got it.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.